Hey, welcome back for another episode of Transform Your Workplace. I've got Nicole Blevins with me. Nicole, it's great to have you back on the show.
Yeah, I'm back. I'm excited to do this.
I always appreciate our regular talks, and we always try to make an episode together where it's actionable and things that people can take back to their workplace. And the summertime is upon us. I think by the time this releases, it will be summertime. And for most places around the United States, it tends to be pretty warm. I know in
Yeah,
Oregon, we get some of the best weather. And in fact,
I
it's the
agree.
only time of the year it's good weather. And we like to take advantage of it. And I think as employees, we naturally want to spend as much time outside. And for environments that are indoors or you're behind a computer or whatever it may be, it's hard to get outside. So I think there's ways that employers could come up with some creative things during the summertime to engage their employees. Are you getting some of your clients asking about that?
Yeah, definitely. This is the time of year where there's questions about managing PTO requests of employees in the summertime, like being flexible and supporting employees and looking at flexible work schedules for them as well during the summer months. So there's a ton of questions that come from clients around this time of year. And I think it's a great topic and opportunity to dive into how you can engage and support your employees in these summer months.
Yeah. What's interesting is like not every employer or business is created equal too. So like
Yeah.
with environments like ours where we a lot of times manage our own schedule, we're behind a computer, but it's easy for us to get outside and go for a
Yeah.
walk if we need to. Whereas I remember I had a college job where I'm in a warehouse
Yeah.
in distribution in a very hot food production environment, and I never saw the outdoors. And I was working long hours during the summer months. It was like a more of a summer job sort of thing. And I think about those people that have those jobs where they're constantly just indoors and never get to take advantage of the warm weather. So this
Yeah.
podcast is a lot for them just as much as the regular worker.
Yeah, absolutely. And there's still things you can do, even though every work environment is different and the employees that you have are different. What you might do might look a little different, right? But there's still little things you can do to support.
Yeah. Let's talk about the probably the number one thing is the flexible work options in summer months. I think employers can come up with some creative things, even if it's just temporary during the summer months, that might ignite some engagement within their employees and do something really nice for them to enjoy some of the summer. What are some of those ideas that you can think of?
Yeah, I think in like many surveys and things, articles that we've seen, flexibility is still top of mind and really important to employees across all industries and environments. And it's top of mind for employees, and especially in the summer month when the weather's really nice, people, their kids might be out of school and people want to go on vacations with their family and spend time with their families and friends outside of work. And you might see a lot more PTO requests coming through, right? Or requests for flexibility in terms of their work schedule during the week. And so, one thing that we've seen on the rise, or that I even recommend to clients sometimes if they're looking for ways to improve the work life balance of their employees or allow them that opportunity to spend more time with their family or friends, is summer half days. And this is something that Xenium that we do, which I know everyone always looks forward to every year in the summer months as well, is allowing employees that flexibility to maybe leave a little bit early on a Friday or a day in the week that works best with the schedule for the rest of the team as well. Just really coordinating with the team and making sure, right, we don't have all of our staff out on a particular day at the same
Right.
time can be really important there, but allowing people that flexibility, even for this temporary time during the summer, it doesn't have to be forever, but is a huge value add and benefit to employees and something that you can easily flex and make work with your other staff members as well.
Yeah, the half day Fridays, or I guess it's just half days. You could use it however you want, but
Yep.
those are fun because they're just an extra half day that's not counted against your PTO or anything, and
Right.
it's just an added benefit. Something else that I thought of is if you can compress work week,
Yeah.
so maybe longer hours, and then that way you can have a 3-day weekend. I
Yep.
think that would be good if it's possible inside your business, or if you're an in person or in office business, maybe allowing a remote work day or 2 in the summer, so
Yeah.
it's cutting down on commute time, spend more time outdoors. Just some thoughts there.
Yeah. It's a huge value add and a great retention strategy as well. What a way to appreciate your employees and retain them by offering a unique benefit or opportunity like that to be flexible during this time to give them that freedom to really enjoy the weather and enjoy time with their family.
I think activities could be another good way to engage people in the workplace, and I'm thinking activities that are outdoors in
Yeah.
particular. What are some things that you've thought of or done?
Yeah. Yeah, I think activities like to engage people and get people together, especially in remote work environments, right, where everyone is at home or so spread out, they don't get to really engage with each other. And summer is a time where people like want to go out more and be more social and be connected to people as well. So creating events within your organization to get people together outdoors, whether that's a picnic in a park where you invite employees and maybe their families to come and just enjoy a picnic, a day outside, whether it's beautiful weather to connect with each other and get to know each other's families, even builds that camaraderie and that connection and morale amongst employees and teams. And even teams that aren't remote or spread out, right? In the type of manufacturing or warehouse environment you mentioned earlier, Brandon, a lot of times people are so focused on the work itself, right? They're operating the machine or the conveyor belt or
Mm.
whatever they're doing, and they don't really get that to connect a whole lot, and so allowing that opportunity for people to connect, inviting their families, is great. We have a baseball game that we're gonna be going to actually later today at 10
Right,
AM, which
yeah.
is gonna be outdoors where we'll all get to connect with each other, which I'm really looking forward to. Just creating little opportunities and events like that for people to be together can really, I think, improve morale and let people have that experience outdoors and enjoy this really amazing time of the year.
Yeah, I think, like, the activity where you bring everybody together in one spot is probably the easiest logistically. Years ago, we did team summer outings too, where
Oh,
we would
yeah.
have, like, a category of 10 different things that you can choose from, like music in the park, wine tasting, 9 holes of golf, top
There
golf,
was a brewery one I
um
remember too, yeah.
brewery one, pedicures, like, maybe
Yeah.
that's indoors, but maybe there's something outdoors after that, but just opportunities for people to select what they're interested in,
Yeah.
smaller groups, and then you just go do it, and it's completely paid for by the company, so those were really fun. I'll just be honest with you, logistically, it's very hard to coordinate,
Sure. I
especially
can
as you're a larger company,
yeah.
but I think for a smaller organization, maybe a few options, and they can choose
Yeah.
which one they want, I think that would go over pretty well.
Yeah, I agree, and everyone's interests are different too, so you're able to engage different people, whereas we've got that baseball game, but not everyone will necessarily be there, right? Because not everybody enjoys that environment or cares for baseball necessarily. So having different events too, and that's not the only thing we've done, right? I mentioned the picnic and other things, so doing different things to engage different people as well.
Yeah. Something I thought of too, especially because 'cause I'm thinking of that environment that I was describing, the warehouse environment where you're like on the like I was on a conveyor belt basically all day, like staying in one spot. But like during breaks, it'd be nice to have like extra refreshments that are paid for by the organization, maybe lemonade or
Yeah,
an icy or something that's
ice
totally
pops.
different than coffee
Yeah.
or water or soda.
Yeah. Yeah, I like that, and then also, I think when you're in an environment like that, you don't always necessarily think to, like, go outside or that you can go outside. So I think just employers, like, being a voice for their employees and encouraging them, like, when you have breaks, feel free to go outside. The organization that I worked for in the past actually had a little walking path outside where they
Yeah.
put little colored stepping stones outside to provide, like, a suggested walking path outside around the building that someone could take on their break to just make it really easy for people to do something like that and letting them know that's an option and something we support and encourage as an organization.
I thought for some environments where it's nice outside and they have a company issued laptops where they can be mobile to set up like an
Yeah.
outdoor working area or whether it's benches or working stations where they could just take their laptop and go outside and work, take meetings out there, whatever they need to do. They'd
Yeah.
obviously need Wi-Fi out there, so
Right.
that would be probably the only thing besides equipment or furniture that would need to be put in place, but I think that would be really effective, especially if you're an in-office environment.
Yeah. No, I agree. I enjoy that to doing that at home sometimes. Like I'll go and sit out on my deck and do a little bit of work from my laptop and then come inside when I get too hot. But it's I think that's a great way to do it as well. If you feel like you have this high workload and you can't just take a few minutes to just walk around outside and do nothing,
Right.
right? We are in the age of multitasking galore, right? So you can sit
Yeah.
outside and do some work on your laptop as well. And You might even find it makes you more productive, right? Being out in the sun and in nature can actually have a productivity impact as well on employees.
Right. And just speaking of being outdoors and in nature, let's talk about the wellness aspect. I think there's some things that employers can do to encourage wellness because
Yeah.
it's nice outside. What do you think?
Yeah, absolutely. I think a lot of organizations have like a vested interest in the well-being of their employees because if they're healthy and happy, they're more productive. Usually they're happier and more engaged in the workforce as well. But also like insurance costs go up every year, it seems, and it's expensive. And the healthier your workforce is and the least claims that you have to impact that, the better as well. So I think I've seen a lot of organizations have wellness programs where they do encourage healthy behaviors of their employees. And one thing that I've seen done, especially around this time of year in the summer months, is like a walking challenge to get employees to be a little bit competitive with one another and say, let's get out and take advantage of this beautiful weather and walk more and see how much you can walk, and then there's rewards or prizes for that. There's also a team aspect, right? You could have teams of this walking challenge as well, where you're getting teams of employees together to collaborate and work together and encourage and support each other to walk more and to get out and do that. And then that also creates that camaraderie and that team
Mhm.
aspect and builds morale as well. A lot of walking challenges I see happen around this time of year, and it's a really
Yeah.
easy thing to set up and administer from an employment perspective, from an employer perspective. And I think people really enjoy it too. And like everyone gets involved. There's posters around the workplace. I was just telling you earlier, Brandon, anytime I take the elevator, I feel a little guilty. I'm like, no, I should be walking more. I'm going to take the stairs because I see that signage. And so it's just really does motivate those healthier behaviors and builds that sense of teamwork.
Yeah. I think the other thing, like culturally, that organizations could do is, and I know we're so like for work environments like us, we're stuck on like Teams and Zoom and all those for all of our meetings. Sometimes you don't need to be on a camera. And so I encourage you to pick up the phone, maybe put some earbuds in and go for a walk as you're doing a one on one or
Yeah.
a team meeting, whatever. You could still do business just on the phone and doesn't have to
Yeah.
always be connected to a computer or video call. So I would encourage like maybe just shift a couple of meetings a week to
Right.
do a walking meeting.
Yeah, it doesn't have to be every meeting because there's still that value in seeing each other and connecting. But every once in a while, like that's a great way to change it up, allow people the flexibility to not have to be on, right, in that meeting or that camera, and be able to do something else that's going to impact their well being.
Yeah. Any other ideas come into mind that either your clients have done, you've done in the past, or anything that's worth sharing?
I mean, I think we covered a lot of really great ideas. I think I just always encourage my clients to be supportive and flexible with employees and their use of PTO around this time of year. I think a lot of employees, and myself included, I'm like, I don't use a ton of PTO the rest of the year. And then a lot of people will save it for this time of year where they can really do some awesome things. And it may seem like a shock to the system a little bit to have so many requests coming in at once, but just really be supportive and flexible with your employees to figure out how you can make it work and still meet your business needs. There are creative ways to do that and just being supportive of that. And I also am always in favor of the idea of asking your employees what they want, right? So we've talked about some really great ideas, but every work environment is different. Every employee is different. And at a future all team meeting that you might have coming up, maybe solicit some ideas from your team and say, it's a beautiful time of year. We want to encourage you all to get out more and do some fun stuff. We want to encourage the use of your PTO even. What ideas do you have on how we can support you in doing that? Or what events you might like to see for us to get together and do this summer? Always like getting input from employees, so don't shy away from that as well.
I agree. Good discussion, good ideas, Nicole. And listeners, if you have any ideas for us, feel free to share it with us. We would love to hear any unique ideas that you've implemented, and we'll share it with the world. So
Yeah,
thanks for coming on, Nicole. Really appreciate you.
of course. Thanks.
Hey, thanks so much for tuning in for today's episode of Transform Your Workplace. The content on this show is strictly for general information and educational purposes only, so that you can go transform your workplace in a positive way. The views, thoughts, and opinions expressed on the show are the guest's own and don't represent the views, thoughts, and opinions of either Xenium HR, the sponsor of the show, or me, the host, Brandon Laws. Additionally, Xenium HR or myself, Brandon Laws, doesn't endorse any guest, their business, or any organization they represent, so discretion is advised. We encourage you to work with a trusted advisor to find a custom approach that fits your organization's needs. Thanks for tuning in to today's episode.